inspired. Be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hello, motivators, family. How are you doing? I'm Marlene of Marlene Motivates, and welcome to your dose of positivity. I wanted to tap in for a little bit and, talk for a little bit. I wanted to tap in for a little bit and get a little bit of motivation and some encouragement on your Sunday. I hope everybody's doing amazing. Hey, Nolan's girl, how are you doing? Welcome in. Appreciate you. I hope you're having a great Sunday. So, today, everybody, I just want to talk about deception. Okay? There's a lot of deception that goes around in this world. There's deception within the family. There's deception between people who are in romantic relationships. There's deception on the job, deception on everything we see on TV, on social media. Deception is everywhere. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, for us to not be deceived. Do not be deceived. Not everything that we see, not everything that we hear is what we should believe. I'll say it again. Do not be deceived. Not everything we hear, what we see, and what we think is the truth. There's a lot of smoke screens, right? There's a lot of people who portray themselves to be a certain way, and that's not even them. People will pretend to be whole characters around us in order to bring some deceit. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that people actually do. Okay. Now we know that deception is convincing others, one or many people, of untrue information because the deceiver knows what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They know it's a false. They know it's a lie. But it's for many different reasons why people are deceivers, But usually it's to gain something personal. They're getting something from it or they would not do it. So let's get into talking about these people who are deceivers. Do not be deceived when you hear something, when you see something. Not everything that looks good actually is good for us. While we have access to things on social media, on TV, on your phones, on your devices, even within our families, in your relationship, we hear things about people. But not everything that we hear is the truth. And I hate to say it, there's a lot of people who their name gets dragged through their mud, their reputations get tarnished, and all because people want to spread malicious rumors because they may hate a certain individual or they may hate a certain group of people and they want to do something to get people down. They're trying to do something to break people. I know for me that sounds like something so cruel. Why would a person want to bring some harm against another person? But we're going to be talking about some of the reasons why people are that way. We're going to be talking about that. So usually it's to gain some attention. They want to gain the attention of other people, They want to gain the attention because they're seeking to get some notoriety. They want the accolades. They want the attention to be on them. So sometimes People come around and they deceive other people just because they're attention seekers. They want for other people to pity them and feel sorry for them. And they'll make up a whole narrative. None of it is true. We see it all the time on social media. People catfish and lie, especially on dating apps. People on the job, we see them everywhere. There's deceitful people everywhere. But how do you know what is the truth from what is a lie? See, that's where it can get a little sticky. What do you believe? Who do you believe? And why should you believe them? You know, I always say it doesn't take a very long time to find out who people are. It doesn't take a long period of time to find out who the people that you are aligning yourself with, is this a good thing to do? Because who we associate with, who we spend our time talking to, is who we turn into. It's who we become. You are not going to elevate in this life. You're not going to personally grow if you align yourself with deceitful people. Yes, mental health is real. It's very real. Yeah, I know. It's hard to seek a therapist with no medical insurance. And the only reason why I am able to go on my monthly visits is because of my insurance. But, Nolan's girl and anybody who is in the chat, anybody who's listening to this, if you really need help, there's a lot of agencies out there that offer free help for your mental health. A lot of therapists provide their services for free. So you have to check in the community and, do some research, ask some questions, because if you want the help, if you need the help, you have to search for it and seek it. So I wanted to talk about this next. Most of the time, when it comes to a person who's very deceitful, usually almost 99.99% of the time, it's because of immaturity. When you are not fully mature emotionally and mentally, a lot of people think that because you're an adult, you should be acting in a certain way. And yes, while that is true, you should at a certain period of time after you turn 18, you should be mature enough. And that's why the state you should be. But many people did not get disciplined. Some people got over disciplined and they were actually abused, controlled, and so much things. So they show up now after their childhood scarred, hurt, and that's where they're seeking the attention that they should have gotten from their mother or their father or their sibling. So they come out on social media, they come out on, the workplace and all around us being deceitful because they don't know how to get attention just by being themselves because they don't know who they are. That is the sad point about a lot of people on social media, people that you may know in your real life. It could be our very own relatives. We know them and we see them, and they're always doing something and we just don't understand. But maybe, I'm not saying all the time, but maybe it could be that they just need some love. They didn't get the love that they desperately needed during their crucial years when they were young. And I'm not making an excuse for it because I will never excuse bad behavior. But sometimes it's immaturity. If you don't heal your inner child, if you don't start taking care of yourself and do the things that you need to when you're an adult, you're always going to bring harm not only to yourself but to others. Because I'm telling you that people say, oh, it's my life and I can do what I want. Yes, that's true. When you're adult, of course you can do what you want, but many times our relatives, your children, your spouse, other people suffer when you make bad decisions, and it hurts. Hey realist, How are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Sunday. Shout out to my mods. Yes, Nolans, it's hard even to have a family reunion in my family. It's hard for us. Yes, and hard for many people. It's hard for many people. It's hard to get along with people these days. Are you finding as we go along in this time in this world that it's harder and harder to get along with people? And I believe, my personal opinion, I believe that part of it is immaturity, part of it is some mental illness, and the third part of it I'm going to be talking about in a little bit. But I do believe that a lot of people who are deceivers, that it has a lot to do with people have mental illness. And there's a lot of people who are mentally ill and they need to be on medication. They need to be medicated, but another part of why there's so much deception going on is because they, while they like to deceive other people, they deceive themselves. They will never admit there's zero accountability on their side. They will never admit that they have a problem because they have an undiagnosed mental illness. And don't we see that a lot on social media? There's so much people that really need help. I mean, a lot of help. Some people actually need to be like in a mental hospital, a mental facility, taking pills, locked up in a padded room because that's how much help they need. But you cannot get help until you actually will do something that causes self-harm, or in the case of you committing a crime, and then you will be forced to get help. But even in that, there's not always help and assistance for everyone. You know, things don't always work the way that we want it to. Life doesn't always go the way we want it to. And I get it. I grew up in seeing it in my community. So many people I knew that were in the, you could call, low income bracket, and they needed a lot of help mentally. But of course, there's the ignorance. Nobody's going to help them. And then on top of it, they don't have the money. And third, they won't ever admit that they need help because they have this huge ego. And I know for me growing up, I grew up, always saying that you are okay, even when you weren't. And that's not a good thing. Okay, what did I miss? Hey, Knowledge Girl says, that's why I learn from my mistakes. And that's what we're supposed to do, everybody, as adults, as grown women and men. We should be mature enough to say, I learned from my mistakes. I am accountable for my actions, but most aren't. They don't want to be accountable for what they do. They don't want to, say that they're wrong. They always want to point the fingers, and that's a big deception. So much people are trying to show up in the world like they're perfect, or they love to point fingers at other people, but they fail to look at their own self in the mirror. They fail to analyze themselves. They fail to say, you know what, I'm doing this, this, and this, and I need to make some changes. And they won't do that. Hi, Blaze. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. All is well over here. Thank you so much for stopping in. Hey, Key Kitchen. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Sunday. Shout out to all my mods. My mods always are welcome to drop their links. Yes, you've been through trauma issues for many years without speaking about it. And I feel that is that's something that happens in so many communities. And I don't just mean in the poor communities or urban communities, but I mean a lot of people in general. Based on your age, many people grew up, hiding everything. Oh no, you don't talk about what you're going through. You don't talk about your family business. You keep your family business at home. And while, yes, I do believe that there's some things you don't talk about. Of course, you don't spread your family's business about every little thing that happens behind closed doors. But I mean, when it comes to the point where it becomes toxic and you're dealing with people doing twisted things, things that should have people behind bars, and it's still happening and continuing. See, I'm never going to advocate for toxicity. I'm never going to advocate for abuse because it's wrong. Yes, it's not good to hold your issues inside. It's not good at all. Yes, immaturity is a rampant problem online and offline. One of the biggest rules in life is to have fun. Seriously. But it's very problematic if you're stuck in your second childhood. Yes, there's a lot of people who have never grown up. They're still whatever age when they were scarred, you know. And while I don't like to admit it, it's the truth. I can remember I stayed in that mode of being very negative and toxic and angry because until you deal with your own issues, that's a deception in itself. We deceive our own self sometimes. Oh no, I'm okay. No, I'm good. And you can tell yourself you're good all day long, but if you're really not, you can fool others, but you cannot fool yourself. At the end of the day, you're the one that will be impacted mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. And even I go into the next level and to say even some people their soul is at stake because of what they do, because of the pain in their heart. So we really have to be careful. Yes, perfection doesn't exist. The sooner you come to that realization, the better off you'll be. It's not possible to truly live and not make mistakes or take some bumps and bruises. Yeah, everybody takes some, you know. Everybody, every single person takes some hits. Every single person gets pushed around, taken advantage of, disrespected, but some people it's to a higher degree when it's a trauma, when you've seen things that you should not have saw when you were younger or when you were in your former relationship or in a current relationship. There's certain things that no human being should ever have to experience, and it does make some people, clock out, and they go left, they go rogue, as people will say, because they will never admit what they have been through. They'd rather take out their frustrations on other people. Yes, thank you so much, Key Kitchen. When a person says, I'm good, that means they don't want to talk about it. And most of the time, when people say that they're doing okay, in my family, that is a sign. Like, that's our SOS. If you call somebody and you say I'm fine, that is an SOS. Send back up, get here fast. Because if you're fine in my family, that's no. You should be doing great. I'm great. I'm amazing. But don't say you're fine or don't say I'm okay, because that's a sign that something is wrong. So let's talk about this. And I feel that this is like one of the most important parts of why people are being deceived, is because there's a lot of evil that goes on in this world. And the evil comes from the ones that you would never expect. You would never expect certain things. You would never expect your own relatives to do some of the things that they do. You would never expect it from your mother or your father or your grandparent, your siblings. It's not a natural thing for the people who are supposedly in your bloodline to not be loving and kind and compassionate. But if love does not exist within someone, they cannot give you love, kindness, and compassion. So that's a deceit, a lot of times that people have to deal with, fooling themselves into thinking that your relatives, your parents, whoever you're in a relationship with, your friend, quote unquote, your job. When people exhibit certain behaviors, when people do toxic things and they show you who they are, it means just that. A deceitful thing that we will do, we will fool our own self. Oh no, that was just me. Or we'll listen to, they'll be saying one thing with their mouth, but their action is telling you something else. Don't be deceived. Do not be deceived. And you're not crazy. You're not weird. When someone does something and they've shown an action, believe that. It took me a very long time to realize, because sometimes within us, we have the purity, we have the kindness, we have the compassion and everything, just we're good people. But people will take advantage of you and they will deceive you, because people know who to fool. They know the ones that will not stand up for themselves. They know the people who will allow them to run over them or to do certain things. They know they can control. People know who to fool. People know who to mess with. People know who they can do what with. And they know the ones that they can't. And it's true. It's the reality. There's a lot of people out there that they are evil. And let me tell you something. Just because a person looks good, we see them on social media, you see them in their family, you see them on the job, you see them as friends, and they could be the most beautiful people. They could be so handsome, so good looking, and they could appear to have everything going on. But inside, it's nothing but, evil, pure wickedness, by some things that you would never even think in your mind to do to somebody. And they not only plan it, and that's why they're a deceiver. So don't be fooled, everybody, and go by how people look, and I'm not going to lie. I was definitely deceived by looks and just, oh, look at them. Oh, they look good. But just because a person looks good does not mean they're going to treat you good, or it doesn't mean that's a good person for you. That was a big thing for me. I always was going by looks, but you are not going by their actions. You're not going by their energy. And that's a really big thing when we talk about being deceived. One thing that never lies, one thing that never, ever, ever lies is a person's energy. How a person shows up, and you can feel it. Energy can't be denied. Some people, like when they come around, they just bring this their air, their everything. When they come in, they take from everybody. They pull, they will give you a headache. They'll make you want to pluck your hairs out one by one. They drive people absolutely crazy. Some people are so frustrating to deal with. So don't be deceived. If a person comes around and they're smiling and talking about how much they care about you, how much they love you, how much they're here for you, but if the actions are not showing, then don't be deceived. Some people just like to talk because they want to hear themselves talk. Like I said earlier, some people just like the attention. They just want to be seen. They feel like they're just a very person. They're so much more intellectual. They're smarter than everybody else. They're way above everybody. Those people who have their nose all the way in the air. They think that they're superior to everybody because of their financial situation, or because of their looks, or because of their education, or whatever the case may be. But for whatever reason, they feel that they're above everybody else. They're better than everybody else, and nobody can tell them anything. And I'll tell you something. The person who has their nose up in the air, one day, everybody will be humbled. Whether you want to or not. You can't keep putting out negativity, evil, doing wrong things to other people, what goes around comes around. How you treat people, it will always come back to you. What you do in the dark will always come to the light. So that's why I say all the time, I know that it's not the easiest thing, because don't get me wrong, Marlene's not perfect. I'm not a perfect person by any means. And I do have my times where I want to tell people off, where I want to cuss people out. I have my times where I want to do it, but I don't allow myself to go there because they're not worth it. They're not worth it. I'm not saying I don't stand up for myself, but we have to pay attention to people's energy and realize that some people, they're just a waste of your time. They're not even worth the response to tell them anything. It's just not worth it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nolan's girl. I hope a healing will take place for you. One thing I had to learn from therapy years ago is that unpacking is healthy, and in most cases, absolutely necessary. You got to get rid of the demons glued to your back and breathe again. You have to release. You have to release. You have to heal. But sometimes because of the situation of certain people, and when you're around a very toxic environment with entitled and controlling people, you cannot be yourself. There's certain individuals that will never allow you to be yourself. They'll never allow you to be great, because if they let you be that yourself, then the attention will be off of them, and they will never have that. They do not like it. Yes, sending some hugs your way. A healing will take place in your life. Yes. Hi, Tamika. Happy Sunday. Yes, hurt people, and they transfer all of their, they unload. They unload all of their burdens on you. They'll complain about whatever their mama or their ex or this person or that person did. And yes, while there are certain things that you have no control over, absolutely, there's certain things that we have absolutely no control over what other people do. We don't. We can't control that. But one thing we can do is we can control our reaction. We can control the energy that we put into things. We can control, removing ourselves from the situation. We don't have to be there. We don't have to listen to it. We don't have to partake in it. We don't have to. See, and that's the thing I feel that is so empowering, everyone, is knowing that you have the option. I don't have to take your negativity. I don't have to take your mistreatment. You don't have to take people's lies. You don't have to take their drama. You don't have to wait for people to grow up. You don't. As adults, we have choices to make. And certain individuals, when they make poor choices, we can make a choice to say, you made your choice, and now I'm going to make mine. Yeah, all of which is important. Hi, Miss 702. How are you doing? Welcome in. Happy Sunday. And I want to say that, pay attention to the ones that are evil. Pay attention to them. When you see things, and you don't have to wait around. I don't know about you all, but have you ever been around certain people and their energy is just off, and they've never done anything to you? They've never hurt you. They've never whatever. But we don't have to sit around and wait for people to deceive us. We don't have to wait for somebody to break our heart. We don't have to sit and wait for the other shoe to fall. If the energy doesn't feel right, or you're hearing a person who does a lot of double talking, they say one thing this time and another time they say something else. So when you can't believe somebody, when you can't trust somebody, when trust is gone with somebody that you know of, even if it's somebody that you love, you can love somebody dearly, but we deserve better than to be run over and to be disrespected and manipulated. If somebody can't show up for us in a way that we can trust them, then there's no way. There's no way we can have our own peace, because when other people take our peace away, we take the peace away from ourselves. When they don't do the right thing, it follows us. Their negativity, their bad actions, their bad behaviors, it will start to affect us. And we deserve way, way better than that. So please pay attention to the evil people, not only just on social media, but in our own relatives and in romantic relationships. And I want to pause on the evil that can happen in romantic relationships. And I say this with utmost respect, and I want to say trigger warning. When we're in romantic relationships, let's not be deceived by the promises. I promise I'm going to change. I promise I'm going to do better. How you meet somebody, how somebody is showing up for you. A person who makes a promise, a person who just buys you gifts in order to cover up what they're not giving you, is not going to help you to maintain happiness. Don't settle. Don't just settle for anybody just to be in a relationship. Don't just settle for somebody for a friendship. If we find that somebody is pulling from us, taking from us, messing up our energy, wasting our time, then have enough courage to walk away, Motivators family. See, we know our worth, right? We know our worth. We know what we deserve, and we have courage. That's the difference between a motivated person and an unmotivated person. When you're motivated, you have enough strength from within. You have enough, your mindset is in a positive space that even if a person is showing up in the wrong way, and while we may not like it, it may make us sad, it may hurt our feelings, it may disappoint us, but we know who we are. We know what we deserve. We know the way that we should be treated. And because we love ourselves, we have to move away from people who are immature, evil, controlling, and just not where they're not going in the direction of healing and peace that we are. So that's a part of knowing yourself and loving yourself and being your own friend. I know there are times where I want to put up with things because I really love people, but that's where my own friendship with myself, that's where your friendship with yourself should come in. And my friend has to talk to me sometimes and convince me, Marlene, you don't have to take that. See, that's what your friend should be telling you. When you want to put up with things, your friend should step up and say, friend, that's not how we treat each other. That's not how we treat ourselves. So do that for yourself, Motivators family. I just wanted to pause on that for a moment, because sometimes we can take somebody, they'll put their hands on you, or they'll not contributing to you financially. They won't be supporting your endeavors and your efforts. They won't be loving on you the way that you need. Actually, they'll be jealous and controlling and stopping you from your peace and your joy in your life. I want you all to know that you deserve better and that you don't have to settle. Yes, you have to learn how to heal. You have to learn how to heal. Most females think we can change a person, but you can't change nobody who doesn't want to change. Yeah, the change has to already be in progress. That's why I always say, if you are not in the space of healing and peace, you have no business being in a romantic relationship. And whoever wants to come for me can come for me for that. I'll take the heat. But there's a lot of times where people need to be on a break from relationships, because first you have to know, love, and friend yourself before you can know, love, and love another person. That love has to start with you first. You have to know what direction you want. You have to know where you're going and not looking for someone to direct and love you. They can be an addition, they can be a gift and a blessing to the love you already have for yourself. But if all the love that you have in your life is coming from your romantic relationship, it's time to pause, my brothers and sisters. It's time for us to put that pause button and say, no, I need to take some time for me, some time for reflection and self-help and self-healing and compassion. Because sometimes we put so much effort and energy into loving on the person we're with. We'll be so kind and loving and patient with the person you're in a romantic relationship with. But when it comes to you, where is your kindness? Where is your love? Where is your patience? See, that's where your friendship with yourself has to come in, and not waiting for it from another person. Yes. They have to be a good communicator. My mom and my dad used to say that all the time. My parents were married for 52 years, and they died 7 months apart from each other. And my mom always said that her job was to make my dad happy, and my dad always said his job was to make her happy. And if you have two people and they're always seeking to make the other one happy, it will always work, because it's not one person only thinking about yourself. See, when you're in a relationship, as humans, we just tend to think about ourselves and our interests and what we want. But when you're in a healthy relationship, the other one should be focused on how you're doing, your happiness, your joy, and your peace. And they will be an addition. People always talk about what another person doesn't give to them in a relationship. But if you turn that mirror back on yourself, what do you give in a romantic relationship? How can you help heal, love, and bless others? What can you do? What do you bring to the table? And most people don't want to talk about that part. Yeah, I'm done with that too. Yep, loving yourself. Yeah. Now, a lot of relationships can be one-sided. Many, many, many. But we don't do that. We don't do one-sided on any relationship, whether it's romantic, it's platonic, it's your siblings, it's your spouse or significant other, it's whoever. In all relationships, if someone can't bring you something, if someone doesn't bring you peace or love, spiritual support, kindness and consideration, elevation, some mental health support, then what are you doing with them? Not that you're waiting for someone to give you everything you need in this life, but if you have people in your life and they're not bringing something, they're not bringing some sort of elevation in your life, then what are they going to do? They're going to be the crabs in the barrel. If someone is not elevating you, they are bringing you down. And you can fool yourself all you want to. But if somebody is not upbuilding you, encouraging you, giving you some positive support, speaking life over you, then let me tell you something. They are speaking death over you. And I didn't want to believe that for many years. I did not want to believe that. But it's true. If somebody is not checking on you, how are you doing? I was thinking about you. If it's always one-sided and you're always the one, how are you doing? What do you need? What can I do for you? If it's always you, that gets exhausting. It's exhausting, motivators, to always be the one checking on somebody, always be the one who is encouraging, always the one giving spiritual support, always the one with it, giving a handout financially. If it's always you, you're going to get tired of that. So that's a deception into thinking that we have to do things for other people. I feel like I was just testifying to somebody. But we feel sometimes that other people need us and they can't do things without us and it has to be through us. No, it doesn't. It's not our job to be other people's savior. That's not your job. All you are supposed to do in this life is be yourself. And if other people are only around you to take or to get something from you, you need to lose them. You need to cut the ties, or as they call, cut the umbilical cord. There's a lot of people, whether it be a relative, a spouse, a friend, quote unquote, a coworker, people on social media who just are draining. They will drain, they will take, they will destroy, they will break your spirit. I've come out of certain live streams and off certain videos and been around people in a regular day-to-day life that after being around them, I just want to go take a nap. Or they make my head, it's like my head is splitting dealing with those type of individuals. It's because they have a very controlling, jealous, negative spirit. It's like that's their air. Or they have no problem with, deceiving people. They have no problem with hurting people. They have no problem with dragging people through the mud. And if we feel that it's okay to drag people through the mud, maybe we need to do a little bit of introspect, a little bit of some self-reflection. Why does that feel good to me? Why do I have myself aligned with this individual who has no problem with hurting and gossiping and controlling another person? We have to do some reflection while we speak on others and we talk about others and their deception. Also, it's a time for a reflection on ourselves. Am I deceitful? Am I evil? Do I hurt people? Do I backstab people? Or am I kind and positive and supportive? See, what we don't want to do sometimes, motivators, is be honest with ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with it. It shows our maturity. It shows our healing. Hey, Dawn. Hey, Sirius. Welcome in, everybody. If you could please hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. Sometimes we need to have some personal reflection. I like to call it my woo-saw time. You got to have some time where you just, empty yourself. You have to do some mind dumping. You have to do some, releasing of the negativity that you may pick up from other people. Hey, Nate. I thought I saw Nate. Maybe I'm seeing the wrong thing. I thought I saw Nate. Hey, Metro. How are you doing? Yes. Some real mean people. Really, really mean. And a step above mean, evil. There's a big difference between mean and evil. Some people are evil. They will have no problem unaliving somebody. They have no problem seeing someone become bankrupt. They enjoy seeing people suffer. People who have very narcissistic personalities. Some people are sociopaths. There's all type of people out there that we have to see and maybe deal with on a day-to-day basis. But the topic of this live is for us to not be deceived. Do not be deceived. When you see these things, when you see the habits, when you see the behaviors, when you see how a person could be very disruptive, controlling, and jealous, when you see everything, it's like the writing is on the wall. You see it all. They've shown you who they are. And what will you do next? What will you do next? That's the question. How are you doing, Metro? Welcome in. How's everybody doing this fine Sunday? Yes. Yes, and that's the difference, Nolan's girl. Nobody is perfect. That's what I want to say to everybody. Nobody is perfect. Every single person does wrong. Myself, everybody. It's the ones that act like they're superior or they're looking for an apology from you, but they would never admit their wrongs and what they have done. I'm always willing to admit my wrongs and admit that I have not always been mature. I haven't always done the right thing. I haven't always told the truth. I haven't always done the right thing all the time. But I'm a real person. I'm a real woman. I'm a mature woman. Not that I have always been, but I've learned, I've grown. And when you heal, you have no choice but to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and to say, that was foul when I did that. Now, do some reflection. And why did I do that? Why did I feel that I needed to do that when I know better? And then wait for the response and heal those wounds from why you did certain things, why you had certain behaviors. Sometimes we do things because we're crying out for help. We're crying out for love and friendship and other things in the wrong places. When that love, that support, that compassion needs to be coming from within. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, Metro. That's something. Oh, hey, Nate, I thought I saw you. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. I think that is so important, everybody, for us to be able to go through and to do some reflection. I'm going to put the link in here if there's anyone that would like to not anyone, but if it's somebody among my people that has a thought that they would like to share about deception, now is the time of the live stream to hit that link and to share your thoughts, because I know that people are going through things. I know my motivators family, we go through things, and sometimes people don't know what you're dealing with. People don't know what you're going through. You could walk around with a smile on your face. That doesn't mean you're having good health or you're in a good position financially or you're okay mentally. It just means that you just are trying your best to make it, one moment at a time, one day at a time. But, I wanted to tell you all, I'm so proud of your strength and your courage, because it takes a lot of courage to stand up every day and to do the right thing. Let me tell you, it's so much easier to do the wrong thing, you know? Sometimes a situation nobody would ever know, you could get away with it for a little while. I will say it that way. You can get away with things for a little while, but I always say that whatever you do, it always comes back to you. So make sure that you put good things out there in the atmosphere. There's a lot of times where you could have done the wrong thing, but make a choice to do the right thing, even when nobody's looking. I am a firm believer on other people may not see it, but I know. I know about the spirit world. I know about what can happen to you when you don't know, when you don't do the right thing and you know that you should have. There's consequences. And, sometimes we'll go through a period in our life where we're suffering. We're going through so many things, and we're asking, why am I going through all of those things? To be honest, everybody, I know sometimes I've suffered from things, and I know it had to be from something that I did when I was immature or unkind or malicious. So everybody has to deal with the consequences of their actions, even when we don't want to believe it. Hey, James Money, how are you doing? Welcome. Everybody. There's nobody that is exempt. There's nobody exempt. A lot of people feel that they are exempt from consequences. A lot of people feel that they can do whatever they want to do and nothing will ever happen to them. But that's not true. It's not true at all. Not true at all. So, I didn't see anybody hit the link yet. So, I wanted to say to everybody, I have one more point. And that is that a lot of people, do not be deceived, because a lot of people are out here clout chasing. Okay. And clout chasing is the act of seeking attention, popularity, or social status on social media by engaging in controversial or attention seeking behavior. Okay. Clout chasing can provide people with brands and opportunities to gain exposure and expand their reach, yada, yada, yada. So we know. And in recent times, clout chasing has become a term that means attention to chase after fame, attention, and influence. Some people, they will, as they used to say back in the day, sell their soul. Sell their soul for some fake money. They will do everything underhanded. They will do everything twisted and malicious and hurtful and evil. And they don't even get the benefit of whatever they were trying. They didn't even get to the fame. They didn't even get to the money. They didn't even get to live out whatever their lustful fantasies were. And the amount of pain that they brought to other people, the amount of hurt, negativity, and the ruined reputations, the people they've disappointed and tarnished. Okay. And I think that's sad. But sometimes if there are clout chasers in real life, they'll align themselves with people and trends for the purpose of being popular. They want to be popular. And I'm telling you all, don't be deceived here on social media. Do not be deceived. The people who they're on social media, and they look so beautiful, or they're in this quote unquote relationship. Just because the person is smiling on a video with their spouse or significant other, that doesn't mean they're happy together. That doesn't mean they're getting along. It just could be just for clicks and views. It could be just to stroke their ego or whatever, or just to get sponsorships. And as soon as that video gets cut off, they go right back to hating each other. It's a shame. It's a shame what people will do in the name of fame. It's a shame what people will do just to be able to get notoriety, just to elevate, just to grow their subscriber or their views. It's very sad. Yes, it definitely takes a lot of courage and time and patience. Yes, it does. Yes, Miss 702. People destroying people for likes. People will turn on their own sibling, their own mama or daddy, their very best friend in this life. People will, and this is my personal thing. This is nothing against anybody else, but I hate those videos that people will break up. What do you call it? Breakup pranks. People will do some things. There's certain things that I don't believe it's funny. Saying you want to break up, saying that you're pregnant, saying that you're whatever it is for clicks and views. There's certain things that it's not funny. Saying that a certain person passed away, that's not funny. There's certain things you don't play around with that stuff. It's not funny. Yeah, always do the right thing. Always do the right thing. Yeah, you have to be you are going to be responsible. You're going to be held accountable for what you do. You always, absolutely, without a doubt, you never do. Yes. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. That's why I always said when people talk about relationship goals, and the only, listen, I'm telling you something. The only ones that is a goal for me are the people that have passed on that I actually knew them. My goals in my life was my parents, people that I know that stay together through the good, the bad, and there's usually more bad than good. A person who will be there and support you in your immaturity and be there and support you while you are growing and not abandon you in the time where you need them the most. Ugh, that's one thing I don't like about people. As soon as they get to a space where they don't need you anymore, they drop you like a hot potato. They abandon you, or they upgrade for a newer model. And you know what I'm talking about, like about that. You know, as you get older, as you maybe you put on some weight, you maybe you can't move as fast as you used to, or whatever. People will people will move on to somebody younger, or has more money, or has more of whatever it is that they feel that they need, and you can't give it to them, so they're done with you. Mm, I think that's sad. I really do. Yeah, some of it is low-key abuse. Hey sis, how are you doing? The link is in the chat. If anybody, I'll put the link in one more time before I get out of here. But I want to say that, like, don't be deceived by people. Okay, don't be deceived. Hi Jessica, how are you doing? Happy Sunday. I appreciate you being here. If you guys could hit the like, I'd really appreciate it. There's a lot of people, and it's not just romantic relationship. I mean, people could be your best friend, and things that they'll do. My mom always said, be careful. There should never be more than one woman in the house. Be careful about the moves that you make. You have your person. Be careful about bringing your person around other people. Be careful of what you tell other people about your personal business. We have to be so careful. People can't know things unless we tell them. People can speculate, and they can talk about you, and they can do lots of things. They can say lots of things, but it doesn't mean we have to listen to them. We have to believe them. We have to do whatever it is that they want. So, just a word of caution. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. Don't be fooled. Know better. Love on yourself, and do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. I wanted to say that. Do what's best for you 100% of the time. I wanted to say that. And keep your head up, everybody. Do not let other people, and don't let their negativity, and I know that it hurts. I know that a lot of my motivators family have been through a lot, you know, horrible romantic relationships, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, a lot of deceit, a lot of being taken advantage of, being used, being controlled. It's a lot of things. People hating on you, people for no reason. And you've done nothing to people. All you've ever been is yourself. But don't worry about the people who show who they are. Now you know. See, that's the difference. You know who they are. You know what they do. You know what they're capable of. And then now you make a move, and make a move in the opposite direction. Get away from them. You don't have to go and tell them, I'm about to leave you. No, 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 no. There's no about to. You make a move, you make a decision, and you follow through with it. You know, your energy will tell you. Your body will tell you something is not right with this one or that person, or you see how they're treating other people. You see the way they're moving on social media. You see how they'll do things to undermine other people and take advantage of other people, and throw people under the bus, smear people's name and reputation. You see it. We know the deceivers. We know them. And you don't have to say, I see what you're doing. You know the people that you can trust. You know the people who do the right things. You know the people who have your back. And we know the people who don't. So we have to stop pretending that we don't know. We have to stop pretending that we don't know. Well, oh, I didn't know they were this way. Oh, it's all good, Jessica. We have to stop pretending that we don't know who people are. Well, we know. We know exactly who they are. We know exactly what they do. We know exactly what they're about. We know. Okay? We know. So we just have to move accordingly and to not allow people to deceive us and to play games and to hurt us, and, you know your worth, everybody. I wanted to come on here and to say that. Know that you're worth it. Know that you will be okay. Sometimes you got to walk the road alone. Don't be in a romantic relationship. Give yourself time to heal. And then when you are in one, you can come to the table healed. You don't have to come to the table saying, "Oh, my ex did this, or my ex did that, or my mom did this, or my dad did that, or my family." See, when we realize what people do, who they were, it should not show up in ourself, and it's an excuse that people will make, because it's easier to blame other people and say what they did, not discounting what they do. Of course, when people do wrong things, of course you move in another direction opposite from them, of course. But we cannot use that as an excuse to say all men are this way, all women, like a blanket statement, putting everybody in the same category. No. At the same time, we have to take accountability. Remember, you chose them as a friend. You chose to be in a relationship with them. And then when they did the wrong thing, now that goes back to them. So that's a part of maturity, motivators. Sometimes we don't always make the best decisions. We don't always choose the best friends and the best romantic partners. And we can't help who the relatives, the families that we're born into. But what we can do is work on ourselves and be better women, be better men, be mature. Okay? Be mature. Yes, you absolutely know who's for you. No one can hide their true intentions forever. But a lot of times we like to ignore, right? Oh no. And we want to be with that person in a romantic relationship. We want to say that person's my best friend, but actually we are their best friend, but they are not your best friend. We have to realize and recognize that as well. So I wanted to tell all of you, be informed, be wise, make wise decisions. And I always talk about mindset shifting. If you find that people are messing with your mental health, if you find that people are trying to disturb your peace, or they're trying to take from you financially, be aware and like, okay, well, I still have a decision to make. Just because a person asks you for money, it doesn't mean you have to give them. It doesn't mean you have to tell people your business. It doesn't mean you have to waste your time. We can make better decisions. That's the difference with mindset shifting. We can make a difference to move in an opposite direction. So know your worth, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I surely appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for tapping in. I'm about to go over to my podcast channel and do a live stream over there. So I want to thank everybody who came in today. Shout out to my mods. Shout out to all my channel members. I surely appreciate every single one of you. And do not be deceived. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention to people's energy. Pay attention to how people treat you and not just what they say. I'm Marlene of Marlene Motivates. And if it's your first time here, hit the like, subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, and join my channel membership. It starts at $1.99. And I do member only videos and lives over there exclusively for my members. So you won't want to miss out. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. And I will definitely see you all on the next one. You know what we say over here. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. I'll see you guys back on the next one.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? I forgive me, I love me. I've been blessed that I have made it through. I'm stronger and worthy. I am enough now. What about you? Ooh, hey, yeah.